Alright everybody, let's go into fictional storytelling time, okay? This stuff actually happened. I walk into Tractor Supply, I want to buy this saw. I hear that Husqvarna's the top-notch stuff, right there competing with Stihl. My family always had Stihl. I wanted to branch out and see if Husqvarna's worth all the talk. I go in there and I find this saw. It was like I think it was a 16-inch bar or something like that. It's a 350 something or other. Don't get me lying to you, I can't really remember. Okay, I pay, I don't know, close to $400, maybe a little more for that saw, maybe a little less. Memory's kind of, it's been a while. But I pay cash for the saw, and I walk out of the store. Just a typical thing. Get home, you want to play with your new toy, so you break that thing out, put some fuel in it, you put your oil in there, and you try to crank the thing up. Well, this saw would start and run for maybe 3 seconds. That's about as much as I could get it to do. It would immediately die, run super rough. And in my mind, like, sure, I could fix that, but I just bought this saw. So like anybody else, I'm like, look, I just bought this pretty expensive chainsaw. I'm taking this thing back and seeing what we could do. So I take it back within a week, and basically Tractor Supply didn't have a second saw that was exactly like that one. I couldn't just exchange it. It was either get your money back or pay a little extra for a new one. So I went ahead and I paid a little extra for the bigger saw that I have now, which is a 440. And here comes the rain that we were waiting on. Okay, so we just get the 440, we bring it home. We mix up the fuel, put some oil and everything in there, and we go by all the steps. It's telling us, hey, put this lever here, and put, hit the primer bulb 1,000 times, and then crank on it. And then when it cranks over, then you put it on a run, and you start it, all the bells and whistles we did, okay? It ran well. I didn't have any issues. The low idle was a little off, but I was willing to fix that. I'm more than capable of doing that. But I'm like, okay, we got a good saw now. So I go ahead and I put it in the case. I'm not using it for the next week, 2 weeks, however long it was. I'm not using the saw every day. Anyways, I go to take it out of the case, and that thing is full of oil. It's everywhere. Let me see if I think there's still some in the case over there. I'll show you what's on the ground. We'll see, I haven't opened this box in a long time. Can I do it two-handed? One-handed? What are we talking about? Yeah, you can see. And I cleaned this stuff out pretty good. But it was full. I mean, this whole case was lined in here. So, yeah, all the bar and chain oil I bought, wasted. Here's where the saw has been sitting for a month or more after I got it back from the place, saying that, oh, you just have to use the right oil. We'll get to that. It leaks everywhere. Okay, at this point I went ahead and did the right thing here, and just kept putting oil in it here and there and wasting it all. And I probably did that about 2 or 3 times, and I got fed up with it, So I just stopped using it for a little while. I was using my dad's Stihl, and was very aggravated. The whole family's like, oh, I told you should have bought a Stihl. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be a rich guy. But anyways, back to the story. This is about the time I start tinkering with the saw and taking it apart and everything. If you guys haven't seen the first video I put out on this chainsaw, if you have, I hope it helped. If not, feel free and watch that real quick. Get yourself in tune with what I'm about to start talking about. Are you back yet? Well, here's the rain. Why don't you just listen to that? It's good sounding stuff right there. Alright, so we just get done tinkering with the saw, and we find out that the crankcase is actually bad. Okay, you can tell every time I try to fix it, it's continuously leaking. So now my two thoughts is, one, I need to look into a warranty. obviously. Within the year, it was only a couple months. I think it was like 5 months I've had the saw. All these serious problems. And two, if anything, buy the part and try to fix it myself. That's a worst case scenario, because this thing, I don't want to tear apart a brand new saw just because the factory's stuff is messed up. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm looking through their Husqvarna's website. Finding parts is a little bit tricky, but finding a place to either service or warranty a saw is very difficult, because these saws are made in, let me see here, it's made in Sweden. Sorry for the up close and personal. But yeah, these saws are made in Sweden, and obviously we're not in Sweden here in the United States, so they have to outsource all their stuff to all these little companies. And of course, the closest one to me, I call them. They say, yeah, we'll do a warranty on your saw, bring it down. I get down there, the next day they've already changed their policies, because Husqvarna is apparently going electric or whatever. That doesn't matter. But moral of the story, they won't do the warranty. So this place that I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, the ones that are actually willing to help me, we're about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away from me in Oklahoma. I'm not putting any shade on this business, okay? They did their job. It was up to Husqvarna, and Husqvarna let us down, okay? So, yeah. Let me just show you what we got going on in these papers over here. I did my homework a little bit. Not really. I just took the papers they gave me. All right, like I said, went ahead and blocked off a couple things. You don't need to see the company. We're not shitting on the company, okay? You don't need to see the workers' information. You don't need to see mine. We're just looking at the make, model, serial, etc. Doesn't really matter, but you can tell this is my saw. Obviously, it's an orange saw, Husqvarna, blah, blah, blah. So, it says here, customer states, saw is leaking oil severely. Emailing purchase information, that took a while. That was my fault for not keeping the receipt. And then the warranty status and condition. The warranty was still good, but here's what they say here. High level of disassembly and work the customer performed on the saw. The leak is no longer covered in warranty. Sorry, I'm reading this for the first time in a while. You guys probably read this better than me. Good news. Proper weight bar oil saw still leaks, but very minimal, and is usable. That is a lie. Okay? We'll get to that. Saw runs good, no change in our investigation. Saw ran good when we got it there. I told them that it needed a little tune, but I wasn't really worried about it. Okay. So basically, seeing what you guys just saw, I bring it up there. I say, hey, this thing's leaking everywhere. I show them the video proof. They send that video to Husqvarna, and Husqvarna winds up declining the warranty. Hang on a minute. Okay, I know you guys are screaming right now, because yes, that breaks warranty. I completely understand that. Okay? What I don't understand is the parts that I'm changing are like service interval parts. These parts are always changed, right? But the part that's broken that I show in the video is something that should not ever be broken. And that's how it was when it came out of the factory. I didn't drop it. I didn't bang it up against something. It's just broke. And that stuff happens. So in my mind, as I don't want to call myself a businessman, but how I would run a business is a case by case. And this is one of those cases. I'm not trying to be biased here. Obviously, this is my opinion. If someone was to come to me that tried fixing the saw themselves and realized that it's a big failure on our part, we probably would fix that, especially with video proof. But considering I sent in the video, now they're going to decline my warranty. But if I didn't show them the video proof, they would have fixed it. Explain to me how that makes sense. In my mind, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But, like I said, I'm not mad at the company that tried doing the service. It did irritate me that they went ahead and put like a gear oil in there, something that's super heavyweight oil, and said it's not leaking very bad. That kind of irritated the shit out of me. Because if you don't know, obviously that oil is going to come out not as fast. It's still going to pour everywhere. It's just going to take longer. And if you don't know anything about oils and how they work, you could just think that what they just said was correct. And that is unbelievably false. Okay, so don't fall for that if a company tries telling you that, okay? Put the correct oils in there. I get it. Okay? I just can't look past the fact that a big company like this is not going to help someone when it's the company's assembly line that's at fault here. It was a broken part. I buy the saw. It's like $400 and almost $500 at this point I've spent on this saw. And I've maybe used it a handful of times. It's already broken. I show you proof and you refuse to help. This right here is why I'm trying to tell you guys. I know this video is probably really boring. I'm just talking or whatever. Please do not buy their stuff. I never wanted to say this about any company in my life, but I know this stuff is a failure. And I'll show you guys. I'll pull up a picture in a little bit when I get on my computer and I'm editing this. So, hey, dummy, when you edit this stuff, put this in here. I know this is a failure on these saws because they're later model saws, 2024, 2025, they fixed this problem on their bigger saws. They fixed it. You can see. And let me just, hang on, stop what I'm talking about, turn the camera around, and I'll show you. All right, so right in here is where this leak is, right? All the way around this case where they put it together. Now, on these newer saws, the bigger ones, that they put more money in, that they wanted to sell at a higher price, they made this oil housing for the case separate right here. There's 3 screws that you can physically take this housing head off, put a gasket in between it, and put it back on because it was such a common fail point. They know that, but they still refuse to fix this saw. So now I'm out hundreds of dollars in time, effort, etc. because this saw is basically junk. I can't use it. Anyways, moral of the story is, do your research. A lot of people said that their Pro Series saws are really good. I personally don't think I'm going to be buying anything from Husqvarna again. And it's not just simply because of the equipment not being that good. It's more so the company not willing to help the people. I can't get behind that. I'm a very big advocate on helping other people. If you guys have issues, you know what I mean? Huge advocate for helping. And if I see a company do this, I'm washing my hands of it. You know what I mean? I'll try to fix it myself. I'm not going to have anything else to do with this company. They're not going to see money from me unless I'm very desperate. I'm not going to say personally I'll never do it again. Even though I probably just did because I'm upset and angry. You know, that happens. But I'd like to say I hope that they change their tune. I hope that they actually help people instead of just wash them under the rug. Okay? Because personally, that ain't right. But anyways, I hope this video helps you guys. I know it's kind of boring. I'm just talking about this saw that no one probably cares about. But please, I'm going to title this a bit... it's going to be a bit rude, I think, to the Husqvarna if they actually watch it. I'm going to say, hey, this is why I personally think you should not buy this stuff. Okay? So, Husqvarna, if you're watching this video, because I know you watched the first one, Anybody that's out there in Husqvarna, you help the people will buy from you. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. You'll probably see another video, maybe soon, maybe not, don't really know, about me fixing this really lovely saw. So we'll give Husqvarna some time. Maybe they'll help me out. I don't know. Thank you guys. See you guys on the next one.